We'll start over there, Radio France Internationale.
Oui, bonjour. Monsieur le secrétaire général Pierre Benazer, Radio France Internationale. On en est déjà à l'heure de tirer les bilans. Vous avez déjà commencé à le faire au mois de septembre. Pour la Libye, qu'est-ce qui est le plus important pour vous? L'implication en pointe des alliés européens ou au contraire, sur les leçons, ce qui peut manquer dans leur capacité opérationnelle, ravitaillement, munitions, etc.
Comme déjà dit, notre opération en Libye est un grand succès. Nous l'avons lancée en 6 jours. Nous l'avons conduite en pleine conformité au mandat des Nations Unies. Nous avons associé nos partenaires du monde arabe et ensemble, nous sommes dans la phase finale de cette opération. Notre mission n'est pas encore finie, mais nous avons commencé à discuter les leçons à tirer de cette opération. Les alliés européens et le Canada ont pris le leadership et ont fourni l'essentiel de l'effort militaire. C'est nouveau, c'est bienvenu et ça peut servir de modèle pour le futur. Mais l'opération a également montré qu'il nous manque certaines capacités critiques, surtout en Europe. Les États-Unis ont fourni des éléments décisifs comme les moyens de renseignement, de surveillance et de reconnaissance. Il faudrait que plusieurs alliés se dotent de ces capacités critiques, eux aussi, pour relever les défis de demain. C'est l'enjeu des efforts en cours que j'ai nommé Smart Defense, défense intelligente. Il faut dépenser mieux et investir ensemble. C'est donc des grands chantiers d'ici au sommet de Chicago.
Before we go any further, I'd like to urge you, please, to turn off your mobiles or mobile devices, or at least put them on silent. Thank you. Tripoli Post.
Mr. Secretary General, the Security Council Resolution 2009 gives a broad mandate to the new UN mission in Libya. Has NATO started coordinating with the UN on this, and on what basis?
First of all, let me stress that I don't foresee a major NATO role once we have terminated the current Operation Unified Protector. It is for the United Nations to take the lead of the international efforts to assist the new authorities in Libya, if requested from the National Transitional Council. So I don't foresee NATO in a leading role, but if we are requested to assist, we stand ready to help. If our help is needed, if there is a sound legal basis, and we get support from the region. In a longer-term perspective, I could foresee that NATO could provide assistance in reforming defense and the security sector in Libya, if requested by the National Transitional Council. We have a lot of expertise in that area, and we stand ready to assist if requested. We have, throughout this mission, closely coordinated with the United Nations, but we would expect the United Nations to take the lead now, and we stand ready to help and support if requested.
Die Welt.
Stefanie Bolzen, German Daily Die Welt. Secretary General, you were talking about Afghanistan and about the time after 2014 and decisions that need to be taken. When you talk about education and training and so on, what about military and combat engagement by foreign troops in Afghanistan? In this context, what do you hope will be or expect to be the come out of the Bonn conference?
Yeah, starting with the Bonn conference, I would expect the Bonn conference to send a very clear signal to Afghanistan and the whole region that we will not abandon Afghanistan. We will stay committed. It's clearly our goal that the Afghan security forces should take lead responsibility for the security all over Afghanistan. But I think it's of utmost importance for the Afghan people as well as for Afghan neighbors to know that we will stay committed and not leave behind a security vacuum. This is the reason why we have started considerations as to how we can assist Afghanistan after 2014. And I think a crucial element in that assistance will be a training mission. Training and education of Afghan security forces will remain a key element in our strategy, also after 2014. Whether it will be necessary to supplement with additional contributions, I think it's a bit too early to make a final assessment. That will very much depend on the security situation by the end of 2014. But for sure, I think a training mission will be needed also after 2014.
Volksfront.
Mr. Rasmussen, the Netherlands have offered 4 air defense frigates for the missile defense project, but only their radars, not their missiles. My question to you is this of any use to you? Because I understand the American radar is very good. They don't need other radars. My second question would be about Syria. You went on record before this week that you have no intention at all to start a mission in Syria, not even with a UN mandate. My question would be, why not?
First of all, on missile defense, I warmly welcome the announcement that the Netherlands is ready to upgrade the radar systems on 4 air defense and command frigates. And that following these modifications, the ships will be offered as the Dutch contribution to NATO's missile defense. The ships will be an important element of NATO's missile defense capability, which we agreed at the Lisbon summit last November. So this announcement represents another significant step in the alliance's efforts to defend against current and emerging missile threats. The Dutch ships will contribute to NATO's capability to provide protection to its European territory, populations and forces against the growing threat posed by the proliferation of ballistic missiles. And the Dutch announcement adds to announcements we have seen from other countries during recent weeks, the Turkish, the Romanian and the Polish announcements to host missile defense facilities. And I wouldn't be surprised if we will see further announcements in the coming months in the run-up to the Chicago summit in May next year. So this is really a clear demonstration of commitment to our alliance, commitment to a common defense against a common missile threat. On Syria, well, I think it's quite clear. I have stated on several occasions that we took on responsibility for the operation in Libya because there was a clear UN mandate and because we received clear support, active support from countries in the region. And none of these conditions are fulfilled as regards Syria. And these conditions are essential for us.
German television.
Kai Niklas from German Television ZDF. Secretary General Mr. Rasmussen, how would you evaluate the security situation at the moment in Afghanistan? Are there still regions where the Taliban have the control, and is that a problem if you want to hand over the responsibility to the Afghan security forces?
Yeah, there are still areas where the Taliban is in control, but fortunately we have seen a very positive development where the Afghan government and ISAF forces control areas representing a growing part of the Afghan population. So we are seeing progress, and we have also seen a decrease in the number of Taliban attacks, though we have also witnessed some spectacular Taliban attacks, but the fact that they have initiated such spectacular attacks should not overshadow the fact that overall we have seen an improvement of the security situation. And the first transition experience has been very positive. As you know, in July we handed over responsibility to the Afghans in 7 provinces and districts representing 25% of the Afghan population, and that transition has been a great success, and soon we will continue and hand over other provinces and districts. And we have seen a very capable Afghan security force take responsibility. So it's quite encouraging.
Al Arabiya.
Nurdin Fridi from Al Arabiya News Channel. I'm here, Mr. Secretary General. Can I ask you which conclusion you draw from the operation in Libya to for the Mediterranean dialogue and the relationship between NATO and Arab countries in the region? And on what's going on in Libya, many Libyan, let's say, civilian sectors are unhappy with some external intervention in supporting the Islamic movement in Libya. You had the meeting with the Arab partners. Did you have the occasion to talk with them about the political situation in Libya and this external intervention in the Libyan affairs? Thank you.
First, on our partnerships with countries in the region, including our Mediterranean dialogue, I think Operation Unified Protector has raised the level of our partnership with countries in the region, and we look forward to further development of our partnerships with countries in the region based on the operational experience during Operation Unified Protector. Actually, this will be one of the items on the agenda of the Chicago summit. I think we should take this opportunity to revitalize our partnerships with countries in the region, and if the new authorities in Libya so request, I think a new democratic Libya could also join the Mediterranean dialogue, one of our partnerships, which would constitute an excellent framework for practical cooperation between NATO and Libya, a new democratic Libya. But obviously, it's for the Libyan authorities to decide whether they want to see such a development in our relationship, but I think allies stand ready to welcome a new democratic Libya as a partner within the Mediterranean dialogue. Of course, we have discussed the political situation in Libya. We all realize that the new leadership in Libya is faced with huge political challenges, but basically we are confident that the National Transitional Council can manage a transition, a peaceful transition to democracy. I'm not naive. Of course, we might see extremist groups try to take advantage and exploit the situation in Libya. The more important it is that a transition to a stable and sustainable democracy takes place as soon as possible. We feel confident that the new leadership in Libya has a sincere desire to see a true democracy flourish in Libya. And the National Transitional Council has outlined a roadmap for transition to democracy, a roadmap which I find extremely helpful and credible.
Jakob Svendsen from the Danish daily Politiken, and it's also on Libya. Right now, for the last 24 hours, there are reports of very severe situation for the civilians in Sirte, and might be also in Bani Walid. There's people dying on the hospital due to lack of medical treatment and such things. Does this worry you about maybe there should be a grim ending on the NATO success in Libya? And what are you trying to do to make things better for the civilians right now in these areas, which is still held by Gaddafi troops?
Obviously, the humanitarian situation is a matter of concern, but let me remind you that NATO doesn't have troops on the ground in Libya. We conduct our operations from the air and at sea. No troops on the ground, no troops, no NATO troops in Sirte and Bani Walid. Based on the reports we have received, I truly believe that the National Transitional Council forces do all they can to avoid civilian casualties and help the civilian population, whereas we have seen reports that pro-Gaddafi forces use civilians as human shields. No respect for human life whatsoever. So we feel confident that the NTC forces will do all they can to prevent a humanitarian disaster and help the civilian population all they can.
Last question of that.
Dan Deleuze, Agence France Presse. Could I ask you, would you say that NATO possibly has oversold or overstated the prospects for peace talks in Afghanistan, given that they've made no progress so far? And then also, what would you say to President Karzai's suggestions to open those peace talks directly with Pakistan to settle the conflict?
First of all, we have not tried to sell peace talks at all. NATO is not engaged in peace talks. Right from the outset, we have made clear that any reconciliation process must be led by the Afghans themselves. The Afghan government must be in the driver's seat. We have stated that provided that certain conditions are fulfilled, it makes sense to try to find a peaceful solution through a reconciliation process. But these conditions are of utmost importance. The process must be Afghan-led. Groups and individuals involved in that reconciliation process must abide by and respect the democratic Afghan constitution, including human rights, and that's also women's rights. And finally, they must cut links with terrorist groups. Provided these conditions are fulfilled, I think it makes sense to give it a try. However, and honestly speaking, we have not seen much progress. So I think it makes sense what President Karzai has announced, that such peace talks or reconciliation talks could as well take place directly with interlocutors in Pakistan. But again, NATO as such is not involved in that process. It has to be an Afghan-led process, and this is also a reason why it is, at the end of the day, President Karzai's responsibility. And my assessment is that it makes sense that he has announced that these talks could as well take place directly with Pakistan.
Thank you very much indeed, everybody, and thank you for your hard work during this ministerial.